Get ready for your daily dose of marketing strategies and tactics from entrepreneurs with the guile and experience to help you find success in any marketing capacity. You're listening to Marketing School with your instructors, Neil Patel and Eric Su.
Welcome to today's episode of Marketing School. I'm your host, Eric Su.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about how to know if your SEO changes are actually working. Neil, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, the quickest thing I like telling people is check out Google Search Console. So Search Console tracks your impressions and your positioning and your clicks from Google. The data is usually lower than Google Analytics, but that's okay. It just gives you a good rule of thumb. It's pretty accurate overall. I'm not saying it's more accurate or less accurate than Google Analytics. I don't know the answer to that. But typically, if Google Search Console keeps going up, saying you're getting more traffic, your Google Analytics keeps going up. If your Search Console says your traffic's going down, usually your Google Analytics traffic will start going down as well. What I like doing is looking at impressions. So you can look at how many impressions you're getting, because before you get more clicks and higher rankings, you typically see more impressions. Because when you go from ranking on number 10 to number 9, you won't see much more search traffic. But your impression count will start going up as you climb in the rankings higher on page 1 or page 2 or page 3, etc. So look at your impression count, and with Google Search Console, you can compare it over the previous 28 days. They do everything in 20-day increments. So look at the current 28 days compared to the past 28 days, and you want to make sure that it keeps going up. What I also like doing is when I make a change, a technical SEO change, I look at my Google Search Console search impressions. I look at the date, I write it down in a calendar on a piece of paper, and I say, all right, on this day, I made a change. Then I go into Search Console. I have Google crawl it, because in Search Console, you can request that they crawl your website. So whatever page you made the change on, put in that URL, have them crawl it. If you made a site-wide change, put in the root domain, like the main domain, like www.singlegrain.com or www.neilpatel.com. Don't put in an inner page, and you can have them crawl that page plus the rest of your site. And once you do that, you can assume that they picked up the change, and then you can monitor it over the next 30 days to see what happens. That's how I track if my search changes or SEO changes are impacting rankings. And keep in mind, you don't always see changes within 30 days. Usually if you make like title tag changes or meta description changes, you can see that within 30 days. But more technical changes, like if you added in a sidebar link to all your guides or your popular blog posts so they rank higher, those changes can take longer than 30 days, sometimes like 2, 3, 4, 5 months. So what you want to do is for basic simple things like title tag changes, which are usually the simplest, usually assume that you can see changes within 30 days. If you add better links throughout your whole site, you can usually see those changes within 30 to 60 days. More complex changes like getting rankings higher for a specific keyword or building more links, those changes take way longer than 30 or 60 days.
Yeah, and one framework that you can use, you probably need to have an experimentation framework set up here. So, I think it's great to use Google Search Console. And Neil just mentioned if you're doing title and meta description changes, you do need to be tracking this stuff. Otherwise, why are you doing it in the first place? So what you can take a look at, Brian Balfour has an experimentation framework that he uses at HubSpot. He has a great essay on this that you can Google. And I think Sean Ellis also has a great post on how they conduct experiments over at Growth Hackers, or you can say Qualaroo. And there's just a couple of these out there. But I think, I'm just surprised sometimes. We're surprised by the number of people that don't talk about, growth experiments that they have set up, frameworks. Literally, all you need is a spreadsheet. I'm staring at it right now, and you can have columns here, and you probably have to rewind this just to get all the columns down. But the first column would be EID. So this is your experiment identification number. Then you have your baseline, you have your result, you have your hypothesis as well. Start date, end date, which site it's relevant to, and also the notes too. So again, rewind this. And, it'll be played back to you, obviously. But, I'll just give you an example here. For one EID, it says EID 13 right here. It's telling me what the goal is, which is acquisition, okay? EID 13, acquisition. And the title of it is called Single Grain Title and Meta Description Change. And it shows here that our baseline was a 1.26% click-through rate. And obviously, if we're going to change the title and meta description, we should probably wait 30 days to see what has happened over time. So the baseline was 1.26%. We made the change, and then afterwards, about a month later, our result was 1.72%. So you have to make these changes. You have to be very methodical about it. And you have to track what's going on. And also at the same time, if you have a team involved with this, you have to make sure you're doing something like this so there's no redundancies. And it really gets people kind of in the right framework. You're setting kind of weekly growth meetings to go over what happened, why it worked, why it didn't work, and what are the next steps afterwards when you're doing things like this.
On my end, I really don't have much more to add. I would just say use Google Search Console. It'll tell you if your changes are working or not. You can also see in analytics, if you see a huge drop in traffic, that means something you did probably hurt. I look at it not just on a weekly basis, but I probably log in there every few days. I also take screenshots at least 2 or 3 times a month of my Google Search Console data. Reason being is when you look at the graphs, they don't let you go back into time like 5 years like your Google Analytics lets you. So make sure you take screenshots because you will eventually lose your history in Search Console. And you can just use it to track if you're getting more impressions, higher positioning, more search traffic. The tricky part about positioning is your positioning average throughout all your pages can stay flat. So let's say it averages out at ranking number 20. But your impression count and your total search traffic goes up because if you're adding more blog posts, some will rank higher, some of the new ones may not rank well at all. So your average positioning could be low. So don't look at positioning, look at total impressions and look at search traffic. And then within there, you can analyze page by page. So if you make a change to a specific page, you can drill down on a page level and see what keywords are driving traffic to that page, as well as the total impressions for that page, as well as the total click-throughs on that page, as well as total rankings for each keyword on that page. But don't look at total positions for the whole site all at once because you'll be ranking for thousands and thousands of keywords and it just skews the data and it's really hard to see if a change that you're making helps your total site or not when you're looking at a site overall when it comes to positioning.
Right, and you can also set up alerts. I have a tool called growthbot.io. We'll hook in with Slack and your analytics to report on how your organic traffic is doing over time. And you can also cross-reference other tools out there like Ahrefs too, and it can also set up alerts showing you how you're doing in terms of SEO. We talked a little bit about rankings in the past. You can definitely set up some alerts there to show you kind of what's going on. And, all these other SEO tools out there, they have alerting features, they have auditing features out there that you can check out. But growthbot.io, that is a free tool that we have. If you have Slack, if you have Google Analytics, you can just have these alerts pushed to you, at will. So I think that's it for today's episode of Marketing School. We'll see you in tomorrow's.
This session of Marketing School has come to a close. Be sure to subscribe for more daily marketing strategies and tactics to help you find the success you've always dreamed of. And don't forget to rate and review so we can continue to bring you the best daily content possible. We'll see you in class tomorrow, right here on Marketing School.